Good morning, everyone. My name is Heba Labib. I'm Director of NilePreneurs and Director of the Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Competitiveness Center at Nile University. So I'm here to talk about NilePreneurs and how is it that we're integrating with digital ag, because it really aligns very well with what we're doing here at NilePreneurs. But first, let me tell you a little about NilePreneurs, how it started. The idea of NilePreneurs was an alignment between what the Central Bank of Egypt wanted to do and what we at Nile University were doing in terms of supporting startups and SMEs. And the idea that was generated was, how is it, and this is actually aligns very well with what Sandra had been saying earlier, of how is it that we get to satisfy the local demand and the Egyptian market and even integrate that to having exportable products. And we decided to concentrate mainly in the first year on the manufacturing sector and agriculture. So the way we're doing it is that we're operating on 3 main pillars, and accordingly we're running different programs on them. And the first pillar is the strategy unit. And our strategy unit, we decide on where is it that we will direct our efforts. We do not reinvent the wheel doing studies, but there are ample studies here in Egypt that have been done by so many entities, World Bank being one of them, UNIDO, ILO, development agencies like the USAID and GIZ, and they've all been doing studies on the supply chain, identifying where the gaps are, where the problems really are, and where the intervention is needed. And what we're doing in the strategy unit is that we're identifying these areas, these particular areas, and we're injecting the funds, the support, and designing the programs to fill these areas. The second pillar we have in terms of that was required to provide the support and infrastructure to SMEs and startups was business development service hubs. And this is a joint effort with 11 Egyptian banks currently to start BDS hubs inside the bank premises that would provide support to SMEs in order to ease for them the access to finance by providing them with non-financial service, doing some sort of an audit for the company, identifying where the problems with the company are, easing the access to markets, access to finance, letting them know about the sort of services they can capitalize on. Not necessarily all being offered inside the BDS hubs, but the BDS hubs in that sense acts as a linkage office in order to link to the other services provided by the different Egyptian ministries, the international organizations, services, and so on and so forth. So the BDS hubs are there, central units all over Egypt. So we're working with 11 banks to create 27 hubs that would serve different geographic location and providing the SMEs in these areas with the services they need to grow. And then, besides the business part, we're also doing the technology. And this actually might answer what you were talking about, Mr. Khaled, about the sort of what you need for technology transfer. So we're not only talking about transferring of technology, but we're talking about creation of know-how rather than just copying it. And in the design house, we're providing the sort of services to startups and SMEs to develop their products. So we're doing new product development services ranging from steps from design, simulation, building a prototype, and for manufacturable products, we go even further in terms of design for manufacturability and identification for what sort of equipment or machinery you need to do this. We also support, we're doing work with manufacturers of automotive sector and home appliances sector in terms of re-engineering of certain components that they have been importing. And what they're doing right now is that they're in search for local suppliers for these components. And what we're doing at NilePreneurs is that we identify certain parts, we do training to local SMEs on how to produce them to the desired quality of international companies, multinational corporations. So we've been working with startups and SMEs on developing their products and developing the know-how to be able to manufacture their products. So based on the pillars that we have and the technical and business support we have, we are running the programs at NilePreneurs. And the first of these programs is the awareness program. The awareness program runs nationwide campaign to let young men and women or existing SMEs know about how to start their own businesses, or for SMEs know about the different opportunities that are available. So for instance, if we identify a certain sector, let's say medicinal and aromatic plants, then we can have a session for the people working in that sector in Fayoum, Bani Suef, or Aswan, the different areas where you have the producers, and we let them know that there might be new certifications required, there might be a new technology that is available to support their businesses. And this, at the same time, we're doing it with young men and women to let them know so what it's like to start your own businesses, what opportunities are there. And we try even to do it with real life use cases. So we are currently developing our agripreneurship program, and this will be running in different universities. We already have a set of MOUs, and we've had trial runs for this program, and it's yielding very strong feedback from the young people who are attending it. Comes afterward the challenge program, and in the challenge program what we do is that we identify certain challenges, we start connections with industry, and we avail the challenges to young men and women nationwide again, and we let them walk through a process, and it's a very rigorous process where they know what the challenge is. So right here we're working with DG Agri, it's on digital agriculture. We've also been doing another challenge on manufacturing, identifying components, and we're working with young men and women on them receiving training on how to start their own businesses, at the same time receiving technical training that will enable them in the certain technology domains that they're working on, so as they would eventually develop their prototypes, and this is where we start availing funding for them. And for those who have reached a successful prototype, then we highly encourage them to register a company, and we support them to grow. And then comes afterwards the growth program, where we work with existing SMEs that have been around in the market for quite some time, and we are here developing a diagnostics toolkit to work again on the BDS hubs, and we avail this diagnostics toolkits to different entities where they can use it to support companies in terms of identifying where their constraints are and what is needed for them to grow. And accordingly, by using the growth or the diagnostics toolkits for the growth, we can assign the correct experts to support these companies. The following program is the Women Empowerment Program, and in the Women Empowerment Program, we try to support women by availing to them success stories of other more established women who have made it by owning their own businesses, by running their companies, specifically also in the fields of technologies or in places which are quite unconventional. So this acts as an inspiration for women around to know that, yes, we can actually make it ourselves. Not only that we're doing it on inspirational talk, but also embedded in the DNA of the program. So for instance, in the BDS design are to be of an inclusive nature, to be a safe place for women, for youth, for people who might have difficulties accessing them. We're also doing work in the creative industries, specifically the furniture industry, by providing training and support to young designers in terms of giving them design training, teaching them how to design or to create their own manufacturing portfolios, and eventually connecting them with manufacturers. And finally comes NilePreneurs Digital. And in NilePreneurs Digital, we capitalize on our high-tech incubator NU Tech Space. And in NU Tech Space, we work a lot with the high-tech companies by providing them with a seed funding of up to £150,000. We provide them with access to IBM Bluemix cloud platform of an equivalence of $12,000 per company. We give them an 8-month incubation period. We provide them with support in the legal services, marketing services. We give them training on disciplined entrepreneurship. We give them a very rigorous training on product development. And here, product development is a key word that we're talking about because, again, we try to put a lot of technical mentorship and technical support beside the business part that we're putting. And to top that with networking events with customers, supporting these entrepreneurs to create their customer base one step at a time. So within the product development cycle even, we encourage them big time to try to acquire funds or to sell a product every step of the way. And eventually that would make it more lucrative for them to receive investment or funding opportunities during their public launch that comes at the end of the incubation period. Now for here, and this is the announcement I would very much like to make, is that working with Digital Ag, we are offering 3 incubation spaces for 3 startups that are coming out of the hackathon run by Yumkin. And with these startups, we'll be working very closely in order to make sure that their product comes live. And at this point, I'd like to introduce my dear colleague and friend, Dr. Mahmoud Abdul Salam, and he is our agri expert talking about opportunities in digital agriculture. So please.